Hey you guys, so tonight I just wanted to quickly go over 4 phases of what happens when someone, typically your child is what I'm talking about, becomes addicted to something and how that changes the whole family. And it's not just a self thing, it is a whole family thing and how the whole family can be affected and just the 4 phases what it kind of looks like. Um, so for those of you that don't know me, my name is Sally Harris, and I help desperate moms of defiant adult children. I help the moms regain their own life by providing hope, peace, and health to the mom. So, for those of you that have had that circumstance in your life with your child primarily, so the first phase that they speak of is concern. So, you start getting kind of tipped off that maybe there's something going on, and it starts out by just being concerned, and it's gradual, right? Because it builds. It's not something that just happens overnight usually. So you start noticing these small changes and things like that. And then the second phase is when you're on defense. So you're become defensive because your reality is so overwhelming with emotions that, kind of like the stages of grief, you end up going into grief and fear just to buffer the shock and be able to concentrate on what's really happening. After that, the family members start tolerating that, and they start tolerating the behavior and actions and start feeling, especially moms, they start feeling increasingly responsible for different problems that start to arise. And so that is obviously not a good place for moms to be. The third phase is adaption, where we change our own behaviors to adapt to the new issues going on, and especially if that child is in your home. That's a whole nother story, but that is definitely where an issue is. Not to say that you're not adapting if they're not at home, because you're still having to live with the reality of what's going on. We often say that family members lose themselves in their loved one's addiction, and that is so true. Whether it is true addiction or your child has just gone astray, the mom loses themselves in that process. And so it can be, that's the phase that it happens, is the adaptation. You start just adapting to like the new normal, the new reality. It says a parent, a grandparent, or spouse may try to become the perfect person for the loved one, because you're trying to help them, thinking that you're going to fix it. And we all know that that's not possible. So the last phase is exhaustion, and that's truly where I come in. A lot of times moms think until they realize that they can't fix it, they're going to go through these first 3 phases. And by the time they get to exhaustion, this whole fear has ruined their life. It is, or on the verge of ruining their own life. It definitely, they're allowing fear to rule their life for sure. So they'll begin to experience severe anxiety and depression, and possibly even addiction of their own. And so the exhaustion is truly usually the rock bottom, as we say, for family members, because you get to the point where you realize you've tried everything, nothing's working, because your child's not ready to make that change for themselves yet, and we take it personally. And so when the moms are exhausted, that's when the mom's able to make changes that maybe she doesn't even realize she's capable of. Because if you really look back in your past and think, because you think you can't change. And I always encourage moms to look back at what are some things in your life that you have made changes in the past, not in the same situation, because this is probably a brand new situation to you. But we as just women, we may have made a lot of positive change in our lives, even as small. You can look back and find something that you can be proud of that you've made changes with. And so I always encourage them to look back at that, because you need to see that, yes, I am capable of change, and I'm capable of sticking to that change. So I hope that helps someone today. I know addiction is, I've been on both sides of it. So, I know it's a tough situation, and I know it's a topic that a lot of people don't want to talk about. So, but it's reality for a lot of people. And so I'll never stop talking about it, because it is something that almost ruined my life. And so if I help one person change that pattern for themselves, it's worth it. So I hope you have a great evening, and I'm going to put a link below to my discovery call. So if you have an adult child that's gone astray, I would love to hear from the moms that are dealing with that. All right, thanks. Bye-bye.